How are you all doing? See if I can fix this properly. Alright, how you all doing, everyone? Good night. Oh my goodness, I've been on for a few days. I wasn't feeling so well and I've had a hectic week. I've been very, 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 very busy. So I say, you know what, I have to come on. I need us to finish this book. Not that I'm rushing it, but you know, I want to go through with it so we can make our comments and, you know, say what we enjoyed about it, and then I can move on to other interesting books that I would like to share with you. So good night, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. How is the rain with you? The plants need it as well, animals need it as well, so we have to give thanks. Give God thanks for the rain. Alright, and what I was busy doing as well, today I actually made some candles. So in time I'm going to display my candle lines and my teas. So I'm going to just show you guys a few. So this is one that I made today. They're not labeled as yet. So this is, oh my goodness, it smells lovely. Not because I made it where I'm saying it, but another day I'm gonna, you know, take the time to show you guys my candles, display my scents. I make scented candles and I make mosquito repellent candles. So it's candles by Weir. So this one is made of tea tree oil, orange and lemongrass, and it smells heavenly, see? And then I make these little candy looking shapes on top, and when the candle is melted you can actually just put these as well. Really nice, and they smell really nice. They smell great. So these aren't labeled as yet. This one is made of eucalyptus oil and peppermint. So I make my candles in jars. I make them in different type of molds. I make them in teacups as well. So I'm going to display them to you, because some of what I have on my page, my Instagram page. And this one is made of eucalyptus and peppermint. It smells really lovely, like bubble gum, like peppermint gum. Smells nice. So I made these today. They're not labeled as yet. So when they're labeled, they will look like this. Just like what you can see on my page. Well, the labeling is different now. See? So the label will look like this. And it has this little motivational cards on it. Yeah. So I made at least about 2 dozen of these today, because I enjoy making candles. Yeah. Anyway, so tonight is not candle night. It's reading. But I'm going to, as soon as I get my stuff up and running, I'm gonna be showing you guys different type of candles. Alright, so we're going to be delving back into our book that we've been reading. So the name of the book I've been reading is Come Back Old and Blue by Elkanah Rule, and it's narrated by Karen Weir. So let me see if I can remember where we stopped. So we're still at, let me see. Yeah, we're still at chapter 5. So the part where we stopped was when Charles's brother. So Charles's brother is from Kingston, and Charles came for him to carry him to Kingston, and they stopped at this restaurant to eat. And that part where Old and Blue scrape out the people and food at the restaurant, and they had to call the police and stuff. So if you've been following my videos, you will have seen where we had stopped the last time. So after Old and Blue came out of the restaurant, Charles was outside waiting on him. But because he's in Kingston, Charles can't send him back home because him embarrass him. But his brother can't send him back home to country. Okay, it was late. So Charles is carrying Old Iron Blue to his house to stay for the night. So that's where we had stopped. So let me just go back a little where we had stopped. Alright, so I'll just start back here. Alright, we just start back there. Ready? So please relax, get a cup of tea or a cool glass of drink and sit, relax and listen to me read. Thank you for your company. Thank you for joining me. Alright, so we'll start back here. So Charles, standing a little way up from the doorway, his appearance made it clear he was covered with displeasure. The conduct of Old Iron Blue was an embarrassment to him. If it were not so late, probably he would have to send him home that evening. But Charles was a man of few words. He was so ashamed that he could not discuss that matter. In an instant, he was so ashamed that he could not discuss the matter. In an instant, they were on their way home to Charles' house. So, let's see what happens at Charles' house. When they arrived home, Old Iron Blue was introduced to his sister-in-law. So that would be Charles' wife. "Very pleased to meet you, ma'am," said he. "My brother seems to have a nice wife. Nice looks, nice body. Woman like these men must have at their homes. You could be a little fatter, yes, but not anything to complain about." You meeting somebody for the first time and telling him that. She spoke briefly and told him that she badly wanted to sleep, but would speak with him the following morning. He looked at her in surprise and barely nodded his head. She stepped towards her room, then turned quickly to glance at him. She saw him with his mouth open wide, his left palm over his jaw and eyes, staring at her in amazement. "You seemed puzzled," she said, turning to look fully at him. "Yes," he snapped emphatically. "What about your husband's dinner? And I am sure he told you a visitor would be here tonight. How's the food going? No people you want to tell me. After Old Iron Blue stopped at that restaurant and eat off all the people food, him going come now in the night, come ask the woman about where the dinner? No, sir. The Jamaicans that said up, he must here eat with him. But we had an arrangement for him to take you to a restaurant downtown for dinner. Didn't you take him, Charles?" she inquired, turning to look fully at her husband. "Yes," replied Charles. "And after all that food you ate, you still come here asking for more? Your gut doesn't seem to have any bottom." Your gut doesn't seem to have any bottom. "Let me give you an advice," said Old Iron Blue sternly to his sister-in-law. "Wherever your husband is gone, and regardless how much food is there, you must leave your husband's dinner covered under a white towel waiting for him to eat. That is the first duty of a wife. All duties are secondary to that. Restaurant or no restaurant, dinner should be here waiting on us. I am wondering what kind of woman this my brother took up. Only face you have." She stood there looking at him, baffled by his comments. She stood there looking at him, baffled by his comments, and perplexed by his mannerism. She glanced at her husband, who quietly signaled her away. He and his brother sat for a few more minutes. "Tell me, Charles," he continued, "is this the way your wife treats you? How can you accept this? Can't you remember the way our mother treated our father? That is the treatment you must demand. You are a little hen-pecked chicken." Never hear that one yet. You are a little hen-pecked chicken. "Stop talking about that, old Iron Blue," demanded Charles. "Oh, you don't want to hear the truth? Let me shut my mouth then, because I cannot believe that a big strong man like you could allow a little woman like this to be spinning you like a gig. As long as you live, you will always be a boy. You came to the country boasting about your wife. I thought you really had a good woman. Face the facts. You are under bad care. You come home after being out from early in the morning and not even a crumb of food your so-called wife leave for you. Nothing like this could ever happen to an irascible man like me, old Iron Blue. Charles, can I offer you this tough leather belt to chastise this problematic woman?" he said, pulling his belt from his waist. What a way out of order. "Will you please shut your mouth under my roof?" demanded Charles. "Can't you remember the flogging our father received from our mother that day he tried to chastise her?" "Yes, let me shut my mouth, because the more I speak, the more I am tempted to give you one irascible lick to teach you some sense." A few more minutes and Charles saw signs that he was getting sleepy and showed him to his room. "But aren't you going to have a bath before you go to bed?" asked Charles. Hear this now, it is every Sunday I bathe. Don't you know that?" So old Iron Blue tell his brother says only on a Sunday in bathe. Furthermore, the time is, let me check my watch. After 10, no, something to 11. Well, I'm not too sure that this watch is keeping the right time. Anyway, if I bathe at this time of night, I will contract a bad cold. Water must not wet me at nights. But tell me something. You don't have even a few crackers here? Not even a few crackers you have here?" Charles paid him no attention. He changed his clothes and went to bed. He quickly fell asleep and began to snore in an aggravating manner. When he inhaled or exhaled, it was as if the whole house vibrated. I know some people like that. I have a sister, you see. When she sleep, mercy me. If you're there and visiting her, trust me, you're not going to sleep for the rest of the night, because she snores loud and you think that the roof is coming off if she ever hear me. Let's see. Sorry. When he inhaled or exhaled, it was as if the whole house vibrated. Sometimes when he exhaled, it was punctuated by some mini explosions from his nostrils. So he must be going. He woke up just in time to hear Charles' wife telling him from the adjoining room that his brother's nostrils were backfiring like hog rice old truck. So she was not able to sleep. "I hear you," he bellowed in the night as he walked around the room looking under the bed and in every corner for something. "This woman is so feisty, and she not even have a chimney for people to use at night." Ooh. Wait. Alright, let me read back from here. I hear you, he bellowed in the night as he walked around the room, looking under the bed and in every corner for something. This woman is so feisty, and she not even have a chimney for people to use at night. What you people expect me to do? Go outside at this time of night and contract cold or to make Duppy lick me? I hear that town Duppy lick hotter than country Duppy. Oh my God. And plenty coolie Duppy are around town. I hear that some haunting ghosts are about this town. I don't want any of them follow me back to the country. No, answered Charles. Go into the bathroom. So him come from country and I realize that them have inside bathroom. So him probably used to the outside toilet. I tell you, I don't bathe at night. Let me tell you clearly. I want to pee-pee. If I bathe at night, I will become a wheezy chest man. It is the same thing that killed Ma's brother. Never used to bathe till every Sunday morning. He came to town. They forced him to bathe at night. As soon as he finished, the poor man dropped down, stiff, stone dead. So this is the excuse him making for not wanting to bathe. Charles got out of bed, took him to the bathroom, stood at the door and told him to urinate in there. Earlier in the day, while water was off, Charles' wife had taken her ice jug into the bathroom. Hear this. Charles' wife had taken her ice jug into the bathroom to pour water from, but she had forgotten it there. Well, he said, this is the only thing, so him not realize there's a toilet in the bathroom, so he went pee-pee in the jug. Well, he said, this is the only thing that I see that a man could pee-pee into. It couldn't be that white thing standing there, because it can't move and they would be unable to empty it outside. Mercy me. So he filled the jug with urine. Then his eyes caught the shower knob. Stop! They have pipes in here? He turned the knob, not knowing that the shower was above his head. As the cold water showered down on him, he made a dismal wail. Oh my goodness, this sent Charles and his wife scampering into the bathroom. They saw water running from his face and his clothes soaked. What happened? What happened? They inquired with urgency and anxiety in their tones. Charles and his wife looked at each other and exploded into a raucous laughter. But old Iron Blue was not amused. I don't like this place, and as soon as I catch up my stomach in the morning, I am going straight home, said old Iron Blue. Charles, it is the first time I see your wife, but she is not a good somebody. Chuck, I can't associate with people who laugh too much. Lend me one of your undershirt and one of your drawers. Let me sleep in, Charles, because my clothes wet up. I hope I don't contract bad cold. I will lend you a pair of pajamas, said Charles. No. I don't want any pajama. I hate pajama. Every time I see that thing, I feel sick. Lend me drawers and undershirt. That is what I want. Pajama is for people going to the hospital. Will a merino and brief help you? Inquired Charles. Man must not wear brief. It looked too much like woman clothes, he said, declining the offer. What about short pants? Only boys and police inspector wear short pants. I am none of those. Drawers, I say. Drawers I say I want, he insisted adamantly. What about underpants? Yes, I will take those. It is the same thing. Don't you know? Wait there. I'm a Jamaica you're born. His request was granted and he changed his clothes. They too were relieved that he wanted to make such an early exit. Me, if me have somebody like all and blue in my yard, I don't want him leave the very next morning, because with his behavior and mannerism, Early in the morning, they prepared what they thought was more than adequate breakfast for him. Charles called him to the table and left him eating in the dining room. He was heard mumbling something. Charles came close to the door and listened. I could never live with miser people, he grumbled. Look what they call breakfast. This will get lost in the cavity of my eye teeth. This can't even fill a baby's belly. A few minutes later, Charles was at West Street to see him climb on the bus. He took his seat as Charles walked away, promising to visit him in the country. Charles must be relieved. A vendor came in the bus selling candy. Yes, he said, I will have to buy some candy to take home for my neighbors and their children. He brought nearly all that the vendor had, both the stick and the circular ones. He paid and the vendor left. This candy, he whispered, is for my neighbors and their children. But let me taste one. He ate one. Boy, this candy is certainly delicious. I will have to eat one more. I don't know what happened after that. So him taste one, then him taste another one. So I don't know the rest of the story. He kept on eating. What a woman can make candy, man, he said as he started a new one. Master God really gives some people special talent, he said as he ate. He looked into the paper bag. My gums, he whispered. It doesn't make sense for me carrying the small amount. It cannot share. I might as well eat it. The bag was now empty. He crumbled and tossed it into the bushes as the bus made its way through the lonely countryside. Nasty. He was home before midday. Everyone he met told him how well he looked being out for only a day. But they inquired if he really went to town and brought back candy for no one. Bulrush jumped and danced, barking a few times in happiness to see his master. 11:45, he said. Miss Murdy's pot should come off the fire by now. Come, Bulrush, we have to hurry. They hurried, arriving at Miss Murdy's house in a short time. He saw her with a plate in her hand while chewing. Ha, 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 laughed Old Iron Blue gleefully. It seems that I came at the right time, same time somebody else pot. Well, your feet too short. This is the last mouthful I'm chewing, stated Miss Murdy, pretending to be sad. Cha, Miss Murdy, go and search a pot, man. You must have something covered up there, pleaded a saddened Old Iron Blue. But I don't know how my face can look so oily. It doesn't matter if I just washed it. I tend to look oily at times. No, said Miss Murdy. Everything is finished. Not even a little scraping. You sure no scraping on today? Look good in the pot, man. You must can find 2 dumplings or even a commando cocoa. Even if you don't have any salting, I will eat it. Same way. Nothing leave, I tell you. Believe me, she said. I don't know you to be a person who name and clean out pot like that. When did you get so stingy? It makes no sense for me to waste any more time here. Come, Bulrush, he said as he walked away. I'm not even telling her that I'm gone. He made a few steps towards the gate, then stopped suddenly in his path. He turned around to look fully at Miss Murdy, who had been watching him make his exit. Listen now, tell me, Miss Murdy, he asked, can't you find some wet sugar to mix a butter pan of beverage to let me burst the gas off my chest? I feel a pain hooking me in my stomach, and I know that it is gas. Honestly, you know, all I'm blue terrible. This man terrible, you know? Terrible, and him don't take no for an answer. I don't have any sugar. I used the last drop to sweeten my mango sweet tea this morning. Never heard that one yet. Mango sweet tea. I don't have any sugar. I used the last drop to sweeten my mango sweet tea this morning. If the pain continues in your stomach, you must boil up some ram goat, dash along weed, tea with ginger and pennyroyal and drink it. Tell you, man, Jamaica have a lot of interesting plants that can be used for tea, and that's really good for us. One day I need to go through some of these plants that I have in the yard that's good for making tea and stuff. One of these days I'm going to do that. That will cure the pain. Excuse me. That will cure the pain, advised Miss Murdy. Well done, exclaimed old Iron Blue as he walked away. People have become so hard-hearted that even if you are dying, they don't care. Before stepping into the road, he turned again towards Miss Murdy's house. Miss Murdy, he called, I have a feeling that you must have even a piece of pone covered up somewhere. Knowing you, there must be something here to eat. I told you I have nothing, old Iron Blue. Believe me, she said sympathetically. Not even 2 blue drawers you don't have? Not even that? I can't believe this, he said, walking away with his dog. He and the dog made their rounds and went back home. Early the following morning, he heard 5 or 6 teenage boys passing his home, chatting noisily and excitedly as they walked. He recognized the voices of a few of them. He swung open the hatch-shaped window of his bedroom. Where are you going so early? He asked. To Mango Bush at John Lion, came a chorus of responses. Wait for me, he shouted. I will just draw on my clothes and come. I feel as if I could suck some mango this morning. He quickly got dressed and stepped out of his yard with an enormous basket made of bamboo. Bulrush stepped out with him. Go back, Bulrush, go back. It is Mango Bush I'm going, and dogs don't eat mangoes, he advised. But Bulrush insisted on following, and he said nothing more. On and on they walked, over the high ridges of a hill, up a steep slippery path into a gorge covered with vegetation, then stepped over a little stream with crystal clear water, flowing lazily along. Out they appeared to see Mass Ivanhoe, picking breadfruit from a large tree. I had some breadfruit this evening, really nice. You know, I like my breadfruit. I like when it's turned, when it's nearly ripe. Excuse me. I like when it's nearly ripe. Really delicious when it's turned. Your breadfruits look fine. If you give me a few, I'd be very happy. I would make a fire and roast them, remarked old Iron Blue. Mass Ivanhoe told him to take as many as he wanted. He gathered all and set them in a heap. The boys helped him to gather firewood, and in a short while a large fire loaded with breadfruit was pushing smoke into the sky. Old Iron Blue began to walk away from the fire. "Where are you going?" one of the boys asked. "I realize that there are many mosquitoes in these bushes, but they are not coming too near to the fire. I want to kill out as many of them as I can, so I'm going to where they will come." After walking for about a chain and a half, he stopped. The mosquitoes began to attack. He kept on killing them, using his palm as a weapon. It seemed he enjoyed his pastime, as it appeared that he found pleasure doing it. So engrossed was he in his mosquito killing that the boys wondered whether he had remembered the breadfruits and the fire. "It seems as if Old Iron Blue is on a mosquito eradication drive," observed one of the boys. "I recently heard Teacher Turnbull saying the Ministry of Health would soon start a mosquito eradication drive. Is it Old Iron Blue who got the job to eradicate the mosquitoes?" Wondered another. The old man has been killing mosquitoes for several minutes, and he is concentrating without distraction. He stopped killing mosquitoes and walked back to the fireside. "Those breadfruits should roast by now," he declared. "Cut some banana leaves for us to rest them on after they are scraped. We have no plate, so we will eat from the banana leaves." "Peel the skins off," said one boy. "I want mine scraped," said Old Iron Blue. "I cannot afford to throw away the crisp skins of the breadfruit." "I forgot to tell you," called Mass Ivanhoe. From a few chains away, "I have some pieces of saltfish in a crocus bag by the side of that big cedar tree. Take the brown paper parcel from the bag and roast the fish on the fire coal. I am going down to the gully to fill my gourd with water. Don't yam all the food. Leave some for me." Alright, so leave some for me. Alright, so this part of the book came off, so let us turn to the other side. Alright, so we will finish at chapter 5. Alright, so the roasted codfish contained a high concentration of salt. The boys could only manage little pieces between large bites of breadfruit. But Old Iron Blue paid little attention to the amount of salt in the fish. He consumed it with relish. Loved it, he enjoyed it. One boy reminded him that some should be left for Mass Ivanhoe. "Cha! Cha!" he exclaimed. "This amount is too small to leave for Mass Ivanhoe. I don't think he really wanted any." Old Iron Blue ate every crumb and walked away. The boys followed behind. They walked for another half-mile. From around another corner they emerged, and there before their eyes were several mango trees, all covered with green and ripe fruits. On the ground beneath the trees were dozens and dozens of golden fruits that had fallen from the trees. Bulrush dashed off into the bushes, chasing what appeared to be a mongoose. "This is a very nice place to be," said Old Iron Blue. And we know why him said that, because yes, food is there. Fruits are there for him to eat. "I am so thirsty, but I believe the mango juice will quench my thirst. He walked around and gathered several dozen mangoes. He placed them in a grassy patch. He sat in the grass and began to eat. Every now and then one of the boys whispered something and laughed as they looked at him. The boys gathered enough mangoes and filled their bags. He was not filling any bag. He was just eating. One boy who was close enough noticed that his movements had slowed dramatically. His fingers were hardly moving. He whispered to one of the boys. Everyone began to observe. Right before their eyes, they saw the mango fall from Old Iron Blue's hand as he fell backwards, lying motionless on the grass. That meaning eat too much. I know the feeling sometimes when you're, because I nearly fell asleep a while ago, earlier on. I know the feeling when you're sleepy and sometimes if you're not aware of it. I know a friend of mine who was eating last week. She told me she was eating and she was so tired that she fell into the plate of food. She was eating and she just fell asleep into the plate of food. She didn't know when. It's when her head bumped in the food she woke up. That was a sight to see. All her face was plastered with the food. But that's what happens when you're extremely tired. Anyway, this sent Bulrush running around in circles and barking anxiously. Old Iron Blue dead, one boy cried out. This brought a few people running from their fields. How him belly big, sir, remarked one man. It seems that him yam himself to death. Suddenly, Old Iron Blue made one loud groan. Duppy, shut up your mouth. You start frightening people already, and we'd not even bury you yet, because the people him think he has died. We're not even bury you yet, cried a funny-looking man. Aren't you supposed to be dead? He continued. Stop joking and let us see if we can save his life. He's not dead. And man don't dead. Oh, and man don't dead, don't call him Duppy. In Jamaica, they say one not dead, no dash or one not dead, no call, one not dead, no call him Duppy. Let us roll him over and over in the grass. As they did this, the excess food started spewing from his mouth. Ew. In a short while, he revived so well that he could walk home. This should teach him a lesson. Greedy man. One day, as he hurried from one home, heading towards another, he observed 3 men on a hillside plowing land with their forks. He stopped to see if any smoke was rising to suggest that any cooking was going on. He observed a tiny whiff of matured smoke coming from a far corner at the edge of the field. As he stood, he saw the men walking towards that direction. He quickly covered the 1/4 mile and caught up with them. Just as they arrived at the fireside, they only had 3 plates, so they told him that they could not offer him any of the food, as they had no extra plate. I learned from experience, he said. I had a similar experience once, so I usually travel with a plate in my side bag. No, tell me no people. Old Iron Blue travel with a plate. Put my food in this, he advised, pulling a large plate from his side bag. They looked at each other in surprise, but said nothing. Taking the plate from his hand, they filled it with starchy yellow yam, gummy dashins. This sounds delicious. Powdery sweet potatoes and soft boiled ripe plantains. Rectangular and square-shaped bits of crisp fried pork were thrown between, with oil obtained during the frying of the pork sprinkled on top of the food. What are these little black things on top of the food? looking like fried cockroaches?" asked Old and Blue. Let's see where we reach. Alright. Alright, so it said, "What are these little black things on top of the food, looking like fried cockroaches?" asked Old and Blue. "Don't you see that is burnt scallion?" or burnt scallion, answered one of the men. "Oh," he said, and began to eat, tossing little bits and pieces to Bulrush, who seemed to be observing everyone at the same time. As soon as he ate, he was on his way, hurrying to catch the next spot. He came the next day and was on time to catch the men's lunch. And so guess what? Now him start timing the men's lunch now, you know. So every day when he feeds so them finish cooking, now him go try to catch a pot. He said, "Old and Blue, no easy." Alright, he came the next day and was on time to catch the men's lunch. And the following day he came there again. The men became very annoyed and decided they would make a special type of gravy using a potent type of pepper that grew in the woods, and pour it in disguise over his food if he came again. Here it then said, "Tori come to bump." He turned up as expected at mealtime. The gravy was poured on his food, but not on that of the others. They glanced inconspicuously at him from time to time. They saw that he was in torment, but he kept on eating, because they pour pepper on his food to make it burn him so him not come back. They glanced inconspicuously at him from time to time. They saw that he was in torment, but he kept on eating. He paused every now and then to blow air from his mouth to lessen the effect of the pepper on his lips. So it turned dragged. They saw tears running down his cheeks as he ate. He looked at the other men and contended that they managed the peppery food very well. He was no less a man than they. When it crossed his mind that his gravy was from a different container than theirs, but he said nothing. He threw the last remaining piece to his dog. He did not have to throw any before, as the other men were busy throwing pieces to Bulrush. As soon as the dog ate the piece thrown to him by Old and Blue, he began rubbing his mouth on the ground. It was clear that the dog was experiencing discomfort. "Why is this dog rubbing its beak on the ground like that?" asked the most simple-looking man. "Dogs don't have beak," they laughed. "Dogs have mouth." Poor Bulrush started whining, then darted away into the bush, crying out as loudly as if he were hit by a stone. "It seemed as if Duppy licked your dog," said the simple-looking man. "He will soon be all right," said Old and Blue, as he blew cool air from his mouth and walked away himself. As he was out of sight, the men began to laugh. "Bet he will never come back," said one. They all agree, but guess what? Them wrong. Imagine their surprise when they saw him coming back the following day. "Gentlemen," he said, "I know your food is not quite cooked yet, but I know your food is not quite cooked yet, but I am on an urgent mission. I have to take some directly from the pot because I am very hungry." Before they could say a word, he was dishing out some food already. They had no chance to give him a peppery brew. He sat, ate, and went away. They were caught by surprise. I have an idea, said one of the men. I have an idea, said one of the men. We will put on a big pot of water with no food in it. One of us will look out. As he comes, the rest will be signaled and we will disappear among the tall grass. When he opens the pot, all he will see is water bubbling. Them don't know Old Iron Blue clearly. The following day he came, he saw the pot on the fire. He called out, heard no one. He called out but heard no one. He opened the pot and looked in. All he saw was water bubbling. He looked around and saw a large bunch of bananas hanging from a plant nearby. He took his machete and cut the banana. He quickly peeled them and tossed the fingers into the pot. Oh my goodness. You can't outsmart Old Iron Blue. His eyes caught a brown paper parcel wedged between the limbs of an orange tree. He took down the parcel and opened it. It contained a large cut of corned pork. He tossed it into the pot with the bananas and thanked his lucky stars. Within half an hour, there was this enormous heap of cooked bananas piled on 2 large banana leaves as he sat to eat. He tossed a banana to Bulrush. He smelled it and walked away. So Bulrush don't eat boiled banana. Oh, you're a bossy man. You don't name banana. Well, let me tell you, if it is this little piece of pork you're depending on, you won't eat today, he said, looking at Bulrush. As soon as he finished eating, he placed the pot back on the fire and walked away. From where the men hid, they could not see him until he was on the far opposite end of the road. All this time they thought he was waiting on them. It was only when they returned they saw what had transpired. They decided that if he returned the following day, they were going to beat him up. But he never returned. So that means that Old Iron Blue did smell a rat. My, what a terrible, 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 terrible man. So he must have smelled a rat. Say, the men are going to beat him up. So him not bother turn up. Yes, so we're going to stop there for tonight. So that is the end of chapter 5. So chapter 5 was Old Iron Blue becomes Greedier. So we finished chapter 5. And we'll come back and we'll go into chapter 6, Disappearing Animals. Yeah, so we're going to stop there. I hope you enjoyed it. I know there are quite 1 or 2 times when I seemed like I was going to drop fast asleep. Yeah, I'm a little tired, so sorry about that. Thank you for coming into my space. Thank you for spending the time to listen. Thank you so much. And I'll ask that please remember to like, subscribe, and share. And please leave a comment. Please leave a comment about the story, whatever you think about it. Please leave a comment. It will be much appreciated. Alright guys, so you all have a good night. As I say, sleep tight. Don't make the what I say though? What you used to tell me as a child, sleep tight, don't make the bed bugs bite. So sleep tight, don't make the bed bugs bite, and keep safe until I am on again. Alright, peace out. Bye. Night night.